Hi, I'm Danny Nightmare, and I'm a horror addict. And I've driven all the way down to Milton-Freewater to the MF Drive-In. And gonna go see Monster Hunter. Milla Jovovich fighting giant CGI monsters. I mean, that's what she does best. But from what I understand in the Monster Hunter video games, that should be rather fitting, so I'm actually looking forward to it. Just waiting for that sun to go down so the movie can start. Let you know what my thoughts are afterwards. I'm Danny Nightmare.
I'm Gory Movie.
And we're horror addicts. And we just saw a movie at the drive-in in Oregon.
We saw two movies, but we're only going to talk about one.
Tom and Jerry.
It was the most horrific of the two that we saw, but let's talk about Monster Hunter, because monsters.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's a Toho film. Capcom, yeah.
Toho via Paul W.S. Anderson.
True.
Now, if you don't know that name, he is the guy who, yes, brought us the original Mortal Kombat movie, which was like the first big video game movie that I remember as a kid, but he's also the guy who brought us all of the Resident Evil movies, which are hit and miss.
Starring his wife?
His lovely lady, and she is lovely.
Oh, she is. She's great.
She's lovely. She's badass. We like her.
She gave us the Fifth Element.
She gave us many, many good things, except for Ultraviolet. Like, there's just no forgiving that.
Yeah. Milla Jovovich, or Jovovich? Well, she's a badass either way. And some of those Resident Evil movies are a little too way over the top where she's fighting these giant CGI creatures. However, with Monster Hunter, that's kind of the whole point of that game. So, yeah, I thought it was a role that was fitting for her. However, doesn't mean it was a good movie. Like, I didn't have high expectations, so I'm not, like, hurt. I'm not a big monster. I'm not.
We're not in pain. It's okay. We're gonna be okay.
Resident Evil, I love that game, so that series that does me wrong somewhat, but...
I like the first one. I don't think it's anything like the game, but, you know, we're not here to talk about Resident Evil, Dan.
Yeah.
You need to stay on track, bro.
We're here to talk about Monster Hunter, and at first it didn't seem like it was like the game. However, once you get about halfway in, they get these weapons that are like, you know, fire swords and giant bone swords and stuff, and they're taking down giant monsters with teamwork. Yeah, then it's pretty much the game at that point.
Never played the game. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Law's teleported out of here. He bailed. He was not a fan of the movie.
He gave it 1.5 stars.
Yeah, and he can vouch that opening is just garbage in his eyes. It's your typical, we gotta introduce the real world to the fantasy world.
They went through the same portal that I think the Smurfs went through in that Neil Patrick Harris movie.
I thought the Independence Day aliens were coming, but yeah, whatever. Storm Cloud takes them to where the monsters come from. So
okay, so I'm gonna just take a moment. All y'all who are like Danny and Lulz and have played the games, you know, you can have your nerdy discussion with Danny in just a minute. But to those of you like me who've never played these fucking games before, is there more than one?
She thought it was Monster Rancher as we went to the movie.
I like the Monster Rancher games. I was super stoked. Anyway, for those of you like me who haven't played the games, I'm just gonna tell you what you need to know. I don't think you need to have played these games to understand this movie, because there's not a whole lot of movie. There's not a whole lot of plot.
Yeah.
It's set up very much like any other Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil movie. Like, she sees monster, she attacks monster, somebody gets kidnapped, somebody dies, there's another monster. It's just kind of battle sequence after battle sequence, and it's framed very much like a video game. But I don't think you need any previous knowledge. And I really think that unless you're somebody who's already a fan of his films, particularly the later Resident Evil movies where they're just nonstop action and fighting, this probably won't be for you.
Honestly, you could have snuck a couple zombies in there, and this would have fit as a Resident Evil movie, probably.
There are parts of it, because it's so desaturated and they're out kind of in the desert, that it very much looked like Resident Evil 3.
Yeah.
The movie.
Yeah.
Extinction.
Yeah, so it kind of fits into that. So I was not a big fan. Anyways, so I kind of got what I expected. It wasn't a whole lot, but whatevs, you know. Milla Jovovich killing giant monsters. So, there's that.
If you're one of those people who likes just seeing, you know, a capable woman kicking some monster ass, like Underworld's your jam, the Resident Evil movies were your jam, you liked, you know, Ultraviolet, those kind of movies, you're gonna love this. It's very much exactly that movie. It doesn't try to be anything that it's not. But if you didn't like those movies, you're not gonna like this movie. I don't like those movies, so I was pretty bored throughout much of it.
Yeah, I just got what I expected, which wasn't much. Unless you're looking for a real good excuse to go to the drive-in like us, I'm gonna have to say, skip it?
I'm gonna say skip it. So Mila, right, she's off with all her people from Earth, and they're like, what? We're just people from Earth, and they're all sudden out like, you know, the crew from Aliens, and you're like, what? They're gonna go kick some aliens' ass. Fuck no, they're not, because the moment they get there, they get their asses kicked, and all her homies from Earth get killed. And she's like, what? I got no homies. I'm stuck in the alien planet all by myself. But no, this dude who looks just like Rufio from Hook comes along. He doesn't speak any English, but he's really helpful. And at first they're like, oh, I hate you. But then they're like best friends. And it's super cute because they have a training montage that's just like the Karate Kid. Then they meet up with Ron Perlman, who looks kind of like an old Lionel. And they all team up and fight monsters. And that's pretty much the whole movie.
He came in like He-Man past his better days. Yeah, then they like fight. And I think they end up back on Earth again. But then they end up back in the monster realm again. It's really confusing, that last fight. But they taken down the big dragon bads.
Yeah, there's a lot of dragons at the end, so you're getting some of that Rain of Fire vibe at the end, but I mean, I liked Rain of Fire, so I'm going to say Rain of Fire, but not good.
And there's a cat man. There's a man who's like, he's a cat, and they gave him a little stinger at the end, and someone in a hood, but I don't play the games close enough to know anybody who that hooded character is supposed to be, but it's supposed to be a sequel, I guess.
Yeah, they've set it up for a sequel, because essentially there's this portal that Mila went through to get to this monster realm, and they find out that the monsters in our Earth are coming through this portal. So they're like, okay, well, we need to take care of this dragon, but the bigger problem is we need to shut down this portal. They know exactly where that's located, but the movie ends before they do so, so it's really setting up like a sequel. The main goal was to get her back to Earth. They did that, and they defeated their big bad, so...
And now she wants revenge. And that's also kind of like in Mortal Kombat, you know, this is the ending. You're ready for another fight. I did like the spiders freaking out Gory a little bit, though.
Okay, bullshit. Like, that sucked. So, I go there to see a monster movie, and then there's, like, spiders laying eggs in people, and they're all hatching, and it's gross, and I was not feeling it.
That part was actually pretty cool.
That part was pretty scary, so it gets a little bit of horror cred.
Alright, well, if you've played Monster Hunter, or seen Monster Hunter, give us your opinions down in the comments below.
And if you've seen Monster Rancher, just say, hey, I've played Monster Rancher.
And let us know what a weird monster you might have unlocked with a weird disc.
That's what I want to know, because my favorite part about Monster Rancher is you could put in any CD or DVD and you'd get crazy monsters. My favorite was this like cat one I got from Batman Returns. So if you've played Monster Rancher, I want to know what the craziest monster you got was.
Monster, monster, monster.
Monster, monster, monster.
Cut.
Yeah.